Seconds. All right, hello everybody and welcome to the Ole Valley School District Board of Directors Committee meeting for November 3rd, 2025. Executive sessions, we'll have one this evening for confidential student matter and personnel. For school programs, we have the recognition of Mr. Chris Buckner.
Mr. Klein.
I asked Mr. Weston if I could introduce this and you'll understand more soon. The PSBA Institute annually organizes the Pennsylvania Education Innovation Awards, including awards for innovative teaching, innovative school leadership, and innovative school board service. The 2025 recipient of the Innovative Teacher Award is our very own Mr. Chris Buckner. Mr. Buckner serves our school district as a high school technology education teacher, in addition to a variety of other duties supporting our students. While we all know that our STEM program is quite unique, this award serves to recognize that Mr. Buckner has helped to build a top-notch program that deserves recognition across Pennsylvania and beyond. I had the great pleasure of nominating Mr. Buckner for this award, and I felt it prudent based on the impact he personally had on my career trajectory and on countless other Ole Valley alumni. I've told this story many times, but it was because of my Introduction to Engineering Design course with Mr. Buckner, as it was known at the time, in my 9th grade year, that I chose to pursue a path in civil engineering. He was teaching a lesson on the various disciplines of engineering, and I leaned to my classmate to my right and I said, that's what I'm going to be someday, as the slide for civil engineering flashed on the screen. Here I am 10 years later, and I'm an actively practicing civil engineer working towards my professional engineering license. Mr. Buckner's impact on students isn't just limited to helping them learn the basics of engineering or identifying potential career paths, but he's helped to build a cohesive technology education department, bringing together teachers from traditional math and science backgrounds to capitalize on everyone's strengths in forming 7 STEM pathways for graduation. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Buckner for this well-deserved honor.
Thank you, Andrew, for all those nice things.
Yeah.
It makes me super uncomfortable. Anyway, no, if it weren't for the people I work with, Mr. Mold, Mr. Schaefer, Mrs. Marino, all the various administrators we've had over the years, and the Community Ed Foundation, none of this would have been possible. If it weren't for, I truly believe this could not have happened anywhere else other than Ole Valley. I talked to teachers, administrators at other districts, and it's not like this anywhere else. So I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad I was along for the ride for this whole thing, and thank you for all your support over the years. So thank you.
Mr. Buckner, please come around so we can congratulate you.
Oh, we never get to
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, on to committee reports, budget and finance. Mrs. Quarles.
All right, we have 2 items on the agenda this evening. The first is a motion to approve the Act 1 resolution not to raise property taxes above the adjusted index of 3.5%, which is 1.124 mils and approximately $825,000 for the 26-27 school year. No questions. The second item on the agenda is to approve the transferring of $120,000 from the unassigned fund balance to the capital projects fund to comply with the 8% general fund limitation on unassigned fund balance as determined by the 24-25 audit. Again, silence. Oh, there we go.
I'm sure there's a reason, but with us with no budget passed and us possibly looking at in the next few months needing this money, is there a reason we can't just keep it for a while?
For the timeline, we have to submit the annual financial report to PDE by October 31st. So we already submitted to the PDE for that. So right now, we cannot do anything except to transport to the capital project fund. So.
Other questions? All right, we have nothing for discussion, but there are two goals listed. We have develop a multi-year projection for the budget. Any update on that, or do we feel like we're getting close to close?
Yes, we are. We've collected stuff for this year, and part of that will be conversations tonight at executive.
Perfect. And then the last is explore opportunities for potential grant funding and revenue opportunities for the school district.
Yeah, I had a second follow-up meeting on Friday on the solar possibilities. And the return of investment that they put in the ballpark warrants having further meetings. It's at no cost to the district, but they are preparing a presentation that we can present to the board.
Perfect. And then in the spirit of PSBA, I think there was probably stuff that was shared that maybe has opportunities for our school. Was there anything that you took away from that?
We were looking at, I was looking at professional development that's offered for AI for the staff.
Okay.
Also dual enrollment, more options, which led to the conversation revisiting with Harrisburg University. But the solar grants and the AIs and options for other contracted services, other options out there that could be a savings, we're looking into and setting up meetings across the next 2 weeks.
But nothing that made you go,
Not a lot makes me do that, but now,
Okay.
the solar one was more of a pleasant surprise. I mean, the systems that they said could possibly be savings of, if we did the two buildings, the one options, they said yearly savings around $170,000,
Okay.
paying itself off. In years, I don't want to quote the years because it's still a rough estimate, and we'd have to look at different options. But we're looking at a model similar to what was done in local districts where you could possibly use third-party lenders and the savings to pay off the note quick. So it'd be at no increase in cost to the taxpayers. So the last 20 years or estimated 20 years of that system going in is pure savings and revenue savings coming into the district.
nice.
I will say, I think a lot of the sessions that we went to, the three of us tried to split up and kind of go to different things. And a lot of the sessions I were in were like really big concepts to try and implement. And so, looking at where we stand as a district that's on the smaller side and some of those things, it does make some of those concepts harder to attain for a school like us. I do think there was a lot more value in the exhibit hall where a bunch of vendors were for us. And so a lot of that is just having conversations at this point and consolidating our contacts from the conference and working from there. But there were a lot of food service companies, and that was something that I tried to stop and talk to a lot of those vendors to find what other options there are and what that might look like financially for the district, because I know that's been a concern. There were a lot of capital projects sort of companies, and I specifically, with a lot of them, focused on the solar piece and made sure Mr. Weston knew those people to stop at and talk to. So it was a lot of, I think, conversations that need to start now that we're back home.
We sat in an interesting one together, all of us together, for the medical, about the benefits of becoming not only just self-insured, but actually either individually or in a consortium, building our own medical facility.
It was
It was very interesting, but I have not got a return phone call from the message yet. So.
It was a general session that everyone was in, and the concept was basically that like school districts hire a doctor and like nursing staff, and we find an area and make this like the school district doctor's office, and then other school districts theoretically could pay us for the medical services, and in turn we're self-insured by providing the coverage internally. So it's definitely a very out-of-the-box concept of addressing the crazy annual cost increases of insurance, but it definitely needs a lot of massaging to make it work for us.
So the other part is, I think you collected a list from a lot of the board members of potential
Yes.
So is there something that we're going to do with this information, potentially vet through it, determine what options will?
Of the information that's shared, one of the ones that stuck out when we talked about renegotiating our contract for the cell tower, did reach out for that.
Yep.
The building and uses, we're trying to, working with Mr. Rhodes to look at what we would have to make it profitable when you look at having to pay custodians. So any of the yard sale ideas or renting out usage, if you're renting out the turf, that reduces the length of that, and we'd have to reinvest in redoing the turf. So we're doing a cost analysis of building and use items. And the grant writing, we've written several grants that has been shared with things that the board members have done and our own individual grants. But a lot of the ones coming out that's being released with the state of the budgets are all competitive grants. So we're competing with every district, either in the state, if it's a state grant, or a federal grant. So we're sending them out. So we're doing everything we can to find all the resources. I've got an email that comes to me daily of any federal and state grants that come out that could even be remotely used for education.
That's all I have. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions.
I just have one comment. Being part of the Berks County Health Consortium, there is a doctor, a building with doctors and nurses that only Berks County Health Consortium employees can go to. It's through St. Luke's, but like Twin Valley is not part of the consortium, so I can't go to that doctor. So I'm thinking that Berks County has done something like what you're speaking of, that brings a cheaper cost for employees using that particular doctor.
Yeah.
We did talk about that kind of already exists, but if we were able to flip it that we're the manager, we could receive revenues from other districts. That if we bring it to us, it makes us the holder and the manager and the revenue receiver. But there's a lot of steps to get to that point that are a lot of question marks in the process.
And one of the benchmarks they told you, the waypoints, was if you can get 75 to 80% of the people in the plan going to that provider, it's a huge savings. But still, when everybody else is going, their payments are increasing. So until you get that buy-in to that singular doctor, that singular plan, the savings isn't guaranteed. But yeah, that's a great point, especially telehealth. If you have that option.
Telehealth is going away, and Medicare already stopped it.
Oh, really?
Altogether, yes.
Wow.
From that concept, though, one of the key pieces is that based on the size of school districts in Berks County, you would need roughly 4 or 5 school districts to make it a profitable venture with our size. So when you're looking at like school districts that cover larger areas and in turn have a lot more staff because of their geographic diversity, it makes it more viable for a school district like that than it does for a school district like this, that there's 18 of us in the county.
You have liabilities and no assets.
Right.
Because I know they belonged before, and it's not just like one doctor. There was a set, and most of the schools in Berks County did belong to the consortium because it did use the It really wasn't very difficult to find a doctor or physician that was in that particular consortium that wasn't, in Philly.
Yeah.
So it worked then, and I'm like, well, it belonged to the Berks consortium.
We-
That was a real plus.
All right, moving on. Policy and Legislative Committee, Mr. Klein.
The first motion listed here, I do want to draw some particular attention to. So PSBA sent out a message basically urging all school entities, including IUs and CTCs, to pass some sort of resolution encouraging the Pennsylvania General Assembly to perform their core responsibility of passing a state budget. In talking with Mr. Fred and Mr. Freed, we decided that the kind of template that PSBA sent wasn't the best fit for our school district. So that is a revised wording of the resolution that the policy committee has reviewed and decided to advance forward. So, you can see in that at this point, we are estimating that we're out over $3,600,000. and an estimated $31,000 of lost interest revenue, and that's something that we will never get back. We will hopefully eventually get that 3 million plus back, but the interest revenue is just profit that the state is making that we will never see. So it's critical that we continue to let the state know that they need to perform their core responsibility, which means working with, the House needs to work with the Senate needs to work with the House, and they're controlled by separate parties. So it's, we're one of 2 states in the United States that has a divided state legislature, and we're seeing the downsides of that.
Actually, it's probably a benefit of that because that's when you come to the agreement that benefits both sides, not just one. So as far as that whole document, not too long ago, you introduced another petition through PSBA that though we changed the wording, the final document that got spit out was exactly the same document that was introduced to us in the beginning, and our school district name was attached to that. So based on the previous experience, I'm absolutely not voting for this. I believe that these discussions for the budgets, they need to take place. They need to actually hash it out. And starting pushing then, putting the pressure on that. So I don't believe that's the school district place, gets politically involved again through PSBA. And again, like I said, we did not agree with the wording with PSBA. The previous document, the final outcome was our school was attached to the document they wanted everybody to see.
I can't comment on what was done with the previous resolution, but I know that when I went to PSBA's Advocacy Day, the day after we passed that resolution, I provided copies to the 4 legislators I met with. And so Senators Schwank and Pennychuk received our copy, and so did Representative Maloney, and actually 2 other representatives that I know personally that I met with while I was there. So I can't.
The other 2?
Representative Rusnak and Representative Joe Cerisi.
I think the only question we had on that one was the amount we were going to be, we requested the cyber school, constant was, I forget what exactly.
Yeah, we eliminated the specific dollar amount.
Yeah, we eliminated the dollar amount. So you're saying the dollar amount was in the one that we posted?
The one that finally came out from PSBA as a petition had everything that we did not want to.
You're saying our
In the
name,
previous-
our name was attached to a petition that they posted on their website,
That they submitted to
using
us.
their wording, not our wording.
Correct.
Okay, I see your point.
I'm not aware of that, but we can certainly look into it because that's not fair to add our name to something we didn't agree to.
That's how they roll.
Yeah. Are you looking at it? Can you look
Yeah,
at it?
I'll look into it.
Okay.
I will say with this resolution, the impetus is on us to send it to the people listed in the resolution. Where it's not, like we're saying to PSBA, hey, we passed something, you do the work. We are saying we will send it to the leadership of the House, the leadership of the Senate, the governor's office, and our representatives.
I don't know that that's the right move for us, because I don't want to incentivize somebody to concede on this budget if they're taking a stance for how it should be, just for the sake that we get funded.
Thank you, Zach. Well said.
I mean, it doesn't say we're taking any sort of stance, we're just saying pass a budget. You're over 100 days late.
Right,
Do your job.
I don't want to incentivize them to stop digging their heels in if they don't agree with the way that it's being proposed now, because we're worried about getting our funding.
Isn't that their job? To pass a budget on time? We would have a major penalty in Ole Valley if we didn't pass a budget on time, but they're not doing their job. I'm
And they're-
not saying either party is right or wrong, I'm just saying they need to work together somehow and pass a budget, because we can't survive like this for the long term.
And therefore, the budgets that should have been passed, that had passed, because there was no compromise with administration, so, on the budget. And the board members said, oh, you're gonna get penalized if you don't vote for it. I
Yeah,
remember that.
Unless
But
we
same
fully
thing.
understand what the sticking points are on this budget, in its entirety, I don't think this is something we should be weighing in on.
No, I agree with you.
The sticking point is that the Commonwealth courts ruled that funding of public education has been unconstitutional and it's been underfunded. We're the sticking point. Public education is the sticking point.
this is one part of the entire budget, right? There's
But this-
other factors involved.
There are other factors, but
Yeah.
as I understand it, this is the major factor.
They've yet to figure out, because it's an added expenditure that now needs to be in the state budget, they've yet to figure out how to balance that, which is the other piece, I think, that
Right, but if you look at how these things go on politically, it's always horse trading. It's, okay, well, we'll give you this, but then we want to get this in. You know, it's things of that nature. So I don't fully understand what all the sticking points are. I understand like the broad spectrum of it, but without having that information, I don't think that we should be submitting anything.
Did anyone read the resolution?
Jamie.
I'm just asking, right, did you read the resolution? It basically just says, we're hurting because this is not being passed. Can you guys get your act together? That's all it says.
Okay, Jamie, so when we cannot verify citizenship of people, students enrolled in this district,
You're on another tangent.
exactly, but the thing is, the taxpayers are paying for somebody else's education, and when I see you go back to the
We're not talking about the
transportation
same thing. I don't know what you're
Well,
talking about.
It's still the budget, I'm sure that this is some of the sticking points, whom are we providing this education for?
I don't, look,
And why
as
are
far
we
as I'm
not
concerned, and
providing-
as the resolution is concerned, it doesn't say compromise on this, compromise on that. It just says, please, get a budget passed. That's all it says. Get a budget passed. This is how much we're hurting. Get a budget passed.
and all of the reporting coming out of Harrisburg is that they're not even talking. They have all dug their heels in so far that they're not willing to talk. And until they start talking, we will never get a budget. It's telling them, start talking, do your job.
I don't understand why they are getting paid. Yes. They should feel the way we do. You don't get your salary, you don't get your benefits, you don't get your reimbursement for your car, you don't get anything. You can cover yourself, you can pay your own mortgage payment,
And you should,
because you are not doing your legal job that we voted you to do, and it takes two to compromise.
That resolution I'd be willing to sign.
Not just the budget that's submitted. Now you gotta talk about the sticking points. Why can we not just say, this is hurting us so much, would you please get together and work on a budget, because our students and our children are suffering.
plain and
I don't
simple.
get it. I don't get why we can't call them on the carpet for not doing what we elected them to do. It's ridiculous. I'll word it for you. Just like that.
There you go.
I think
Give it a try.
I think we should do.
All means, listen,
My red
the
face
simpler,
being irate at all of
the
them.
simpler,
Get them all
the
out.
better.
I look forward to your redlined version for next Monday's discussion.
There you go.
My red face.
Keep it simple.
Absolutely, and you're not, you know what you do? You're criticizing all of them. Because none of them are compromising. How do
But
we
that's what
protect our
needs to be
students?
resolution. That needs to say it.
Did you read it? Because it does say that.
So,
I was gonna say, how can you expect?
It says you've all failed, you haven't done your job, do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's pick this up next time. Everyone, please read it and come prepared with exactly the wording which you don't like, if you can. That would really be helpful. I mean, we need 5 votes to get it passed, and your names, and the ones who voted on it will be listed in it. The ones who aren't will not. So
It's completely up to you if you want your name listed. The only people who have to sign is if it passes our board president and our board secretary. Everyone else, it's completely optional.
yeah.
Items 2 through 13 on the agenda are all policies slated for final approval. None of them are new. They've all gone through various review processes. And item 14 is a brand-new policy for policy 218.4 on the Clay Target Team. I believe a previous version has been included on an agenda last month, but we made some changes after discussion with our solicitor to better match how we structure our policy manual. And so all of that is reflected in the version linked in this agenda. Under the legislative report, no surprise, but we don't have a state budget. I did want to highlight that there is currently a co-sponsorship memo being circulated that, if passed, would grant school boards the authority to issue a local state of emergency when a state budget is late by over 60 days, which would explicitly authorize school districts to do the following while still maintaining eligibility for state funds that otherwise would be impacted. So we would be allowed to adjust the number of instructional days per week, reduce daily instructional hours, or transition students to full or partial virtual learning to basically pressure the state legislature to do their job while allowing us to save on some expenses. So doesn't force us to do that, but just gives us another tool in the tool belt. House Bill 1977 was passed out of the House Appropriations Committee with unanimous support, which provides for immediate funding for career and technical education programs for the current fiscal year. Unfortunately, this is widely being viewed as a publicity stunt since CTE programs are one of the most bipartisan issues in Harrisburg. It's basically addressing less than 1% of the budget to say that they're doing something when every other piece of the budget remains untouched at this point. And then Senate Bill 1014 is being reviewed at this time in the Senate Education Committee and was introduced by a bipartisan slate of senators. It would enact a statewide bell-to-bell policy to restrict cell phone use in schools, and bell-to-bell means from the time you have to check in until the time you're allowed to leave at the end of the day. Each school district would be required to implement a locally controlled policy to implement these restrictions, but school districts would be required to implement a restriction from bell to bell. So we basically just get the ability to decide how we enforce it, but we would have to enforce it in some way. The kind of challenge with the current wording of the bill is that it implies that the restrictions would only apply to students in some situations, but the consistency throughout the bill is lacking in that it may also be viewed as applying to anyone who is on school grounds, including our employees, meaning that no one on a school ground would be able to use their cell phone from the time school starts in the morning until the time school ends, which in my opinion is a huge safety hazard that our staff wouldn't have access to a cell phone. They would rely entirely on being at a landline phone when something goes wrong. So just wanted to flag those for your attention. Under the PSBA liaisons report, PSBA's officer election results were finalized, and all of the candidates that we approved voting for were officially elected to their positions and will begin with the new board year. There's also a number of PSBA webinars coming up in the next month, so check your emails and register for those as you wish. And then we already talked about the PSBA conference. But we were the raffle winners of a $1,000 scholarship.
You were.
Oh, I was, okay.
You
So we received a $1,000 STEM scholarship that the district will be receiving to use as we wish for our STEM program. So I got a giant check and I don't really know what to do with it, so.
But it has to get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, it's going to go to Mr. Weston, so we. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Freed.
And maybe he can take it to the back.
Get all big.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Get big
Klein.
bills.
All right, Personnel Committee, Mrs. Akin.
Thank you, Mr. Freed. Under action items, number 1 is to approve the following volunteers for the 2025-2026 school year, and they are as listed. Motion number 2 is to ratify Elizabeth Good's work schedule/contract from ending on June 30th to working and ending on August 30th, 2025.
I just wanted to clarify, are we no longer in need of her services? Your department is staffed sufficiently with what you need?
Large question. I mean, we could keep her contract open, however, she, I think, is leaning towards retiring, so I just thought it was better to end it there, but we had some work, new kids that moved in June that were carried over, and we ended up keeping those kids in the district instead of sending them out by the start of the school year, so it worked out, but I think we're happy closing that chapter for right now.
We received word that she's not going to extend the contract, so this just puts a terminating date on it and everything.
The IU would pick up if they offer those services.
Dawn, I have a quick question. We have 2 teachers.
There's a couple on that.
Yeah. Why do they need to be approved as volunteers if they're already teachers? I mean, are they switching buildings to volunteer, or they're still employed by the district? Why would they need to be approved on a volunteer list?
What happened?
With the change of policy, that as long as you keep your clearances up to date and you do volunteer service, you don't have to re-up every year to be on there. So people that wanted to put their names on, if they're looking at continuing further, that was their choice to get put on it, not our edict. So they asked to be put on that list so they could maybe go volunteer in another building if anything says. I think it's more of a comfort that if somebody says you're not working as a teacher, you took a day off to go volunteer on your kid's trip, is that possible? It's just an overdeveloping protection for them.
Motion number 3 is to approve the employment of Catherine Hebel as a long-term substitute reading specialist assigned to the elementary school.
The internal hiring data sheet was not available on the board copy of the agenda. The share permissions didn't allow us to get into it. So if that could be fixed for next week.
Absolutely, will do.
Motion number 4 is to approve the following day-to-day certified substitute teacher for the 25-26 school year at a substitute rate of $150, and name is as listed. Number 5 is to approve the conference request for Kelly Herman to attend the PETE&C conference in Hershey, PA. And all the information is as listed. Number 6 is for Jen Hoffman to attend the same conference. Information as listed, and that is all I have. Goals are as listed. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Akin. Curriculum Committee, Mrs. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Freed. First motion to approve the one-year contract for DocuSign via the BCIU number 14, privileges for specified district users. The cost is $260 for every envelope task. Number 2, motion to approve the replacement medical provider Jennifer Dufford as certified registered nurse practitioner for the authorization of school-based access program services at a rate of $10 per hour for the 25-26 school year. Contract presented and posted online. Motion 3, to approve the 26-27 Ole Valley High School Program of Studies course catalog. The link is below.
I have a question on that item. And Mr. Weston, you already know what my question is, but
I already know your question.
I raised this concern last year, and my concern still rings true that under the English elective section of the course catalog, it lists, specifically, I'm concerned that public speaking and creative writing are 2 courses that a student can't count towards their English graduation requirements. Yet both of those courses, I believe, associate to dual enrollment for college credits. And so I guess I just value those as, and multiple other educational institutions at the collegiate and high school level value those as required courses in many programs, and yet we offer them in alternating years. It just feels like there is a large imbalance there, and I feel like they're pretty critical skills in the modern day that we should be valuing as critical skills, and I don't think they're valued appropriately as electives.
I completely agree.
It's not often we agree, so that must mean it's right.
So when,
Yeah, I do too.
this is major.
So if you look at the one part of your comment about alternating years, that goes off of how many kids are signing up for those courses. So you try to mitigate how many kids if classes of less than 10, those classes that we're seeing are to guarantee that kids at BCTC or in the STEM program have access to the mandated courses that they need for graduation requirements. So that would be a reason behind the alternating years.
I would argue that if they weren't electives, they would see larger enrollment, which would then put them in a situation where they shouldn't be alternating years.
As a matter
I
of
think
fact,
we're creating that problem.
there's more kids that want to sign up for the class and it's always filled.
Well, that would be data that we would get through guidance to see.
That's not true, or we wouldn't alternate.
Yeah, as I know.
So, no, this is the course that needs to be absolutely offered every single year. It's extremely beneficial. If I knew that you're going to start alternating, my son would have been, I would have been trying to sign up my kid. And now he's going to miss this opportunity altogether.
I don't have the creative writing data in front of me, but public speaking did only have 13 students last year. So the
Only,
point-
I think the class was limited to 8.
No, that's not true. We sat down and talked about this extensively, and so it's conversations we will have at the department level again, because it comes up every couple of years, okay? But our English department, as of now, believes the 4 core credits should be English 1, English 2, English 3, English 4. Every kid's gonna have to take English 1 and English 2 because the Keystone Trigger course is English 2. So everybody's gotta take that. So you're really talking about juniors and seniors potentially using that as English credit. They feel that there's skills in English 3 and English 4 that every student should have regardless of whether it's an elective or not. So the kids could take those classes to count towards their 7.5 elective credits extra. I see both sides, okay? But as of right now, we require them to take the 4 years of English. And if those kids want to supplement their elective credits with creative writing, journalism, mythology, or public speaking, they can do it. We elected to alternate because the class sizes were low and it's sometimes not running for multiple years. So when we went to alternate, kids were taking them on those alternating years that were bumping the class sizes larger, okay? But we'll evaluate it every year. It's not something that's set in stone for the next 10 years. It really just depends on enrollment. So that's where we're at with it. But again, with our departments now meeting regularly, that's something we will discuss, so.
Another thing to look at, if you look at increasing rigor and relevance of your 11th and 12th grade courses and kids that are going to a 4-year program, that is going to be more closely what they're going to get at the collegiate level, so especially writing the research paper, doing research. Is if you stop that their sophomore year, look at the fundamental differences between our sophomores and seniors. There's essential skills embedded in that traditional model that they do need at the collegiate level. But that's something that if we looked at evolving into, we'd have to entail that, be creative in how we do that.
And Mr. Weston, what do you think that that research and everything else does not go into public speaking? When they need to prepare for the class, they have to do the research, they have to put it together, they have to present it, they have to be able to actually vocalize in front of the big crowds, not to have intimidation. And now with this whole social media and texting, kids don't know how to put 2 sentences together, right alone, terrified of public speaking.
Oh, I agree.
So
I think
this
that should
is-
be embedded in every class, be able to speak to whatever
So-
subject content that you're doing.
We are
And I know-
absolutely going to hinder
Yeah.
their success, future success, because they would not be able to vocalize, they would not be able to get their point across, they would not be able to succeed in a bigger scale. So
I do know
this is
that these skills are
absolutely-
integrated periodically. Like I know when I took English 3, I had to do a debate, which is a public speaking skill. I just think that we're undervaluing these skills and I want to make sure that they're emphasized.
Absolutely.
So I think this is a topic that the curriculum committee should dig deeper on and understand the English pathway to see where these skills lie in what we currently have and just understand that better.
Can I thought you said you were taking it back to the department head, since that's newly established this year, I thought.
We will, yes, but I know as of now, like my English department firmly believes that kids should take 4 years of English, English 1, 2, 3, and 4, and those electives be used for elective credits because of the skills that build upon each other in each of those years.
Could you reach out to the parents also to see what their college enrollments and curriculum that students, maybe possibly alumni? And get some more study, information from them, what was beneficial to them once they graduated?
Yeah, we always talk to alumni, absolutely.
And the parents, because parents actually have to face those financial decisions. They're paying for the college credits for the kids.
But do we have the
And-
staffing for all these extra?
Yeah, we do.
small classes? We do?
We do.
When do the students pick their courses?
They picked them
This is, again,
starting in January.
So this has to be approved.
I'm just saying.
Last year, we approved this in December and it was too late to do anything. So I mean, ultimately, we need to have a course catalog for students to register. So
This has to keep going.
I would prefer we have a course catalog than not have one, so we kind of just need to move it forward. But I think our concerns are well noted, and
Absolutely. And there's a process to all new course adoptions. So you're looking at a period of time, one, to gauge student interest, needs, then vet a curriculum, resources, write everything, get it approved. So you're looking at a period of time, but would be the time to start conversing it, not for this handbook, but for that following one to make sure we have everything vetted the right way.
I said my piece, so I'm good.
Look, let me ask one quick question. Are these courses being offered this, are we in the off year or the on year this year, coming up?
Of what course? Public speaking?
Yes,
That will be offered next year.
that'll be offered next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Public speaking and creative writing are on the alternating
They're on the
schedule.
alternating,
So
okay.
one is offered each year based on how it's
But we're
presented.
on the public speaking one, which I think is the one that I hear the most concern about.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Yes.
argue that, yeah, it's a good skill that every student should have and every kid should be required to take it. We don't have the staff
Yes.
to accommodate that.
Right, I'm just saying the
Also,
concern
you're not
here
giving it the
is
credit.
that that's
You're
not
also
being
the-
offered, but it sounds like it is offered next year, so we actually have another whole year to get this figured out. Not that we want to wait that long, but I'm just pointing it out.
And the other thing, it doesn't have the same weight as what it is in colleges.
It's not
But
always
that-
made that
yeah, I
high.
mean,
Yeah, it's just an elective, and actually in colleges, it's a required course.
But if you take it here, you can pay for dual enrollment, and then
Correct.
it
It doesn't matter if
covers
it's an
your.
elective.
Yeah, if you have a chance to take it here, right, but if you don't have a chance to
Well,
take
you
it
do
here,
have a
then you're out
chance
of
to take it
it.
here, you just have to plan appropriately, which
Yeah.
can be very difficult to do, especially for parents who don't know about that ahead of time. But if it's offered every other year, you're here for 4 years, you do have the chance to take it.
If you, yes, exactly, if the parents actually knew about it, and it's not like it shouldn't be the change, okay, we decided that the next year we're not gonna be offering it, so, no, you have to give it through the whole entire, several revolutions of that.
I think at this point, we need to trust our curriculum committee and our department head to manage the concern.
All right, you're up.
Number 4, motion to approve the 24-25 Title I Equity Plan as required by the federal programs grant. The plan indicates that Title I students are not disproportionately taught by inexperienced, non-tenured teachers as required by federal regulations as presented and posted online.
I only have one question, so which students even should be taught by unexperienced and untenured teachers?
I think this was put in place because school districts were attempting to hire at a lower scale in their CBAs, and they were taking advantage of that, and then they were left out with the experience.
That is one thing, but also if you have a larger district that has multiple elementary school, that equitability study goes by school. So if you have one school in the district that's Title I and one school that isn't Title I, you need to make sure that your senior staff your payroll cannot be higher in your non-Title I than your Title I.
Got it.
You'll see larger districts yearly move their higher teachers around based on retirements or whatever, based on that formula.
Thank you.
Okay, I have nothing for discussion. The goals are as listed.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Harris. Property and Transportation Committee, Mrs. Pfeiffer.
To approve the agreement with Summit Valley Outdoor Solutions for emergency snow removal as needed for the 25-26 school year as presented and posted online.
We had bids.
We did not have bids. This is a local group that has it. As you see, the prices are down. We also haven't used it in 10 years. So this is just in case we get that blizzard coming and 2 of our plows break, we need to get somebody quickly.
Yeah, because we do have our own plows.
Yeah.
Yeah. To approve the 3-year contract with All American Athletics for the annual recoating of the district gymnasium as presented and posted online. Year 1 is $13,050. Year 2, 13,000, increased by 400, and year 3 is 13.8. The question I have, is that the same company that's been servicing the district?
Yeah, that's the one we've used for years. The product works. They get the work done around our schedule, so we're just deciding to stick with what's working.
And that's a wax type thing, right?
Yeah, that's
Right.
stripping down everything, buffing, and
Oh, there is some refinishing.
There is some refinishing where it's needed, so.
All right, next one, to approve the Otis Elevator Company maintenance contract for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2030, as presented and posted online. Cost is $750 per month, paid annually.
Does this sufficiently meet our obligation to inspect our elevators?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's for all the schools,
Yes.
including the box. I believe we have the elevator of the field.
There's no elevator in the press box. It's just a set of stairs. I've been
Wait a
in it.
second, we paid $70,000 to have an elevator there.
Maybe we approved it, but they didn't do it. I've been in it. There's no
I
elevator.
have not seen an elevator over there.
No elevator there. I've climbed those stairs. There's no elevator.
And there's body vents in
There
it.
is a horrible experience because I
I
climbed the
know,
steps too.
that
I
was
want
an
the
additional
elevator.
$70,000 to that press box. Okay, I was wondering about that one. All right, to approve 2026 memorandum of MOU between Ole Valley School District and Berks County Children and Youth regarding transportation services for foster care youth. Can you please elaborate on that one? Is that something new?
No, that's always been on the hook for the school districts to, if we're providing transportation to services, that's been our responsibility for as long as I can remember.
And where's that location of the foster care?
That I honestly do not know.
It's Berks County Children, it's anybody who serves kids who are in the foster care system. So for us, it's Berks County. It's no money outright, it's saying we will collaborate with any agencies involved with foster care to make sure kids get to school.
Are those foster kids in our district?
Yes, so we are getting many calls of kids being placed. Somebody has to accept that child or those children, and then if you live in Ole Valley School District, then we start the process.
I actually had a foster brother for a period of time, and when he moved in with my family and became a part of our family, he enrolled in Ole Valley schools, and when that foster situation dissolved, he moved to the new school district he lived in. So it's my understanding is this is just saying that we will accept students who are residents in a foster home in our school district.
Yep, we have to eliminate barriers and get them into school.
But don't
There's
we
a lot of-
typically provide the transportation for anybody who resides in our district? What is the difference?
It could be a foster situation where the child lived his whole life or her whole life in Ole Valley School District. The foster family is now a foster child, and the family that has taken them in are in the Exeter School District, but they want to remain and finish their career at Ole. That transportation is provided somehow through there. The foster care through foster care, you can decide which school you're going to go to. Like for our situation, it was a middle school at that time. We decided what was best because we thought he would stay with us forever. He would move in and he would come here just like the rest of our family. But we could have allowed him to stay in Exeter at that time.
Okay, thank you. All right, next one is to approve the following Ole Valley School District employees to drive district vehicles for 25-26 school year as listed. So for the goals, it was develop multi-year capital project plan. We are supposed to meet this month to see if some of the implementation started.
Yep. So we will schedule a meeting so I can show where we're at.
Okay.
I already talked about one with the solar that we're looking at. And we have the buildings and grounds assessment. The second round of site inspections are tomorrow. So they are collecting the data to report back on that. I'm very interested to see what they say about our blacktop and everything. So, yeah.
So what about those, the ones that we just on the action to approve for the gymnasium, the elevator? So are they going to get put in the system?
Yes, they will. Once
So
it
we
gets
can
approved,
actually see them in action since
once,
we're
once
gonna
we
be-
get them approved, yes, I'll put them in the system.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Ms. Pfeiffer. Student Activities Committee, Mr. Fred.
Thank you, Mr. Freed. First action is to approve the generous donation from the Moulton Fish and Game Commission of $100 to the Clay Shooting Club. Second is to approve the Girl Scouts activity flyer to be distributed to the students in grades K through 2 as presented and posted online. And the third motion is to approve the creation of an activity fund for the high school's Youth Volunteer Corporation Club. Any discussion on any of these? That's all I have, Mr. Freed.
Thank you, Mr. Fred. Communications Committee, Mrs. Coral.
I actually don't have anything for communication. I'm not going to open it up. Just kidding. I saw you get a little angry. Your face turned a little red. No, I'm just kidding. But you have something?
I just wanted to recognize that we had 7 high school students qualify for the PMEA District 10 Chorus. Haley Fyrek, Evie Brewer, Callie Martin, Emma Liskey, Finn Robertson, Aaron Repko, and Braden Samuelson. And I think we had 22 students try out, if I recall correctly. So we're very proud of those students for that accomplishment. And, you know, Mr. Buckner kind of touched on it earlier, that the Community Education Foundation enables a lot of things that happen in our school district and allow us to be innovative and on the cutting edge. So their 2025 annual report has been published, and you can see some of the things that they helped our school district accomplish in the last year. And, you know, obviously, please continue to support them so that they can continue to support us.
Anybody else?
We are going to, their OVCF is going to make a presentation in January, at the January meeting. I work with Mr. Harrison and Mr. Rhodes. Once the fall season concludes, we'll do all the recognitions in one lump sum, bring everybody in so we can see everybody. So parents have them in different organizations. They're not coming out multiple evenings. So we'll have those recognitions made.
All right, thank you, Ms. Coral. Negotiations Committee, nothing to report this evening. Under other school board business, nothing listed there. Upcoming meetings are the 10th, 12th, and the 3rd. All right, we'll have executive session in 5 minutes. Thanks, everybody.